One final race to go in the Avon Tyres Formula Ford 1600 National Championship, and this is the reverse grid race. The top 8 cars are now reversed from the finishing order of the last race. That means that this man, Stuart Goff, is on pole position. So let's get in and have a quick word. Stuart, good to see you on the front row of the grid and from the outside line. That'll be an interesting start.
Yeah, it's I'm pleased to get to the front now because we didn't qualify too well, and I've had both mistakes. I've made really daft mistakes on my behalf. Particularly that last race, we spun at Cops. So to spin, survive it, come back with fastest lap and get to, and only miss the win by 1.2 seconds was pretty good. So hopefully I do the business. The car's amazing. Let's see if I get the thing off the line, and let's see if we can try and fend off this hungry pack behind me.
Well, good luck. Hopefully it's a top step of the podium at the end of it.
Thank you. Cool.
However, the man next to him is going to want to try and stop him from doing that, and that man is Jack Wolfenden, who's alongside him on the front row of the grid. Jack, front row of the grid, great to see you. Hopefully this should be a good race from here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to start in the front row. If the race is anything like race 2, then it's going to be a good one.
Do you think the chance of a podium is on for this one?
Definitely. I mean, I'm going to try as hard as I can, and we'll just see where we end up.
Fantastic. Good luck, Jack. Have a great race.
Cheers.
The Avon Tyres National Formula Ford 1600 Championship cars are lining up on the grid ahead of their third and final race of the weekend. It's been a fascinating weekend of racing for these guys, one of the top quality single-seater racing championships in the country. Here's the grid. It's a partially reversed grid based upon the result from race 2, which puts Stuart Goff on pole position alongside Jack Wolfenden alongside him. Rory Smith and Joey Foster, our race 1 winner, lined up together on row 2. Matt Round-Garrido and Michael Moyers have both been quick. They're on the third row together ahead of Niall Murray and race 2 winner Luke Cooper. Michael Eastwell is 9th with Nico Gruber rounding out the top 10. Then it's Jamie Thorburn and Seb Melrose, row 6. Row 7, Carter Williams and Jonathan Brown. Row 8, John Ferguson and Josh Fisher. Row 9, Hugo Bentley-Ellis and Vincent Jay, with Daniel O'Brien and Sebastian Job rounding out the top 20. Then it's David Maloney, Pascal Monbaron, James Clark, Richard Morris, Simon Fleet and James Scott Murphy, ahead of George McDonald, John Svensson, Josh Smith, one to watch, having had late contact with Niall Murray, which sent him down the order, and Sam Street, who spent some time in the pit lane. So Josh Smith really the one to watch here from the back of the grid. Car number 0, he was in the battle for the race victory and late on got into the back of Niall Murray's car down at Brooklands, damaged the car, fell right to the tail end of the field. So throughout the race we'll try to check in on Josh Smith and see how he's getting on, but he should be able to make good progress from the back. At the front of the field, Stuart Goff lines up on pole position, car number 29. Stuart was the 2014 national champion and spent a season last year away from single seaters, actually racing in the Mini Challenge, so had his taste of tin top racing and has decided this year to come back into the Formula Ford fold, and who can blame him? There are very few championships out there that can rival Formula Ford 1600 racing in terms of excitement. Jack Wolfenden alongside him, Rory Smith and Joey Foster, row 2. Foster won the first race in mixed conditions yesterday, and then we kind of expected him to be the one to beat in race 2. It didn't really pan out that way, and he ended up slipping back to 5th place, but any one of about 8 different drivers could have won race 2. In the end, it was Luke Cooper who made a sensational move around the outside of Niall Murray down in towards Brooklands on the penultimate lap of the race, and then held on for all he was worth for the last lap to bring home a victory. So we've had 2 different winners so far. Can we get a third different race winner from 3 races? I wouldn't bet against it, because this is such a competitive field. There are more than enough drivers out there capable of bringing home the winner's trophy. Around Greedo there, the red and white car, he was in the mix in race 1, so too was Michael Moyers, who will share the third row with him. And you'll see further down the order, if we get a chance, we'll check in with some of these cars as well throughout the race. Some of the slightly older post-1989 cars, or some of the really quite a bit older pre-1990 cars that compete in a separate class for the slightly older cars, and the Clubman's Championship. They will have their own equally intense battles towards the tail end of the field. Cars weaving this way and that, desperately trying to get some heat into their tyres. They're the only cars we're going to see racing here today that do not compete on slick racing tyres. It's all just, it's all grooved tyres, That and the lack of aerodynamic aids means that the cars aren't particularly easy to drive. They move around a lot. There's quite a bit of sliding from the rear end. The front doesn't always want to turn in, particularly when the tyres are cold. So there's an awful lot for the drivers to think about here, but there's a reason that this has become such a breeding ground for future single-seater stars, because it really teaches you everything you need to know about car control, racecraft, setting a car up so that you can absolutely make the most of it. And maybe there are limited things that you can do to it. Suspension tweaks, one of the things you can do to change the car. Tyre pressures, the teams often use tyre pressures to make subtle changes to the way the cars are handling. And other than that, really, there's not a whole lot you can do. Stuart Goff lining up on pole position then. He's the white and blue car towards the outside of row 1. Jack Wolfenden is the black-nosed car on the inside of row 1. Pole position, I remind you, is on the outside here at Silverstone, because that is the racing line. So in theory, that's where the most rubber has been laid down. That's where the most grip is. And so it should give a bit of an advantage off the line. But on this freshly resurfaced Silverstone National circuit, resurfaced over the winter in preparation for the new season, that's not necessarily the case. It is entirely possible that cars on the left-hand side, as we look at them, could have an equal chance of getting off the line quite well. Joey Foster, I think, will be the early favourite here. We know he's capable of winning, but because of his slightly disappointing race 2 result, it means he actually gets a good grid position for race number 3. So that's the black car lining up 4th on the grid. Formula Ford legend, multiple Walter Hayes Trophy champion, Formula Ford Festival champion. He should be one to watch in the early going. Green flag then is waved at the back of the grid, and for the final time this weekend, we're going racing in the Avon Tyres National Formula Ford 1600 Championship. Everybody away from the grid clearly. Who gets the start at the front? It is going to be just about Stuart Goff that hangs on them from Wolfenden second. Joey Foster coming around the outside there of Rory Smith, number 45 car, as we go through Copse Corners, and that will be the first side-by-side battle down towards Beckett's. Or will it? Because Jack Wolfenden fancies his chances of getting the race lead. He went for it, it didn't work, and so Joey Foster will actually launch up the inside of him to take second place away. So back out of Beckett's they go for the first time. There's the number 22 car of Jonathan Brown further back, the Road to Indy livery machine, as cars scatter behind. There was a car, I think, pointing the wrong way up at Beckett's. We'll come back to that one in a moment or two, though, because we need to sort out the leaders into Brooklands, and it is going to be our pole sitter Stuart Goff that hangs on. Foster in second, Jack Wolfenden third, Matt Ragrido fourth, and Niall Murray already making good progress. There is Niall, the white, orange and blue number 5 car. He is into 5th place already. Behind him is number 45, I think that is, which is Rory Smith. Yes, it is. But Niall Murray has come through from 7th on the grid into 5th already. The cars streak across the start-finish line for the first time, and it's a quarter of a second lead there or thereabouts for Stuart Goff. He turns his way through Copse Corner, but he's not going to get much more breathing room than that, I don't think. Again, the slipstream is keeping the field incredibly close together. For the second time in a row, it's the outside line into Beckett's that Jack Wolfenden prefers, and Niall Murray comes storming around the outside of everybody. He's at least going to get 4th. He could go 3rd. Yes, he does. Well, we said in race 1 there's no one better on the brakes than Niall Murray, and then he got outbraked by our eventual race winner Luke Cooper for the victory. But other than that, Niall has been a demon on the brakes, and he demonstrated that perfectly there again, going from 5th to 3rd, and now going for the race lead. 3 abreast for the race lead through Brooklands. That was never going to work. Niall Murray backed out of it, probably sensibly, and in the end the positions stay the same. 15 minutes the duration of this race, by the way, so a bit shorter than some of the other races we've seen this weekend, but that means that all of the action is crammed into an even shorter space of time. This was the start. We saw that it was an even start really at the front of the field. Foster did get a good launch from 4th. Jinx out to the outside there, we can see off in the distance, and that's what gave him 3rd place. But it was a fairly equal start all round really at the front of the field. Fastest lap, by the way, has just been set by the man in 16th position. That's number 46, James Scott Murphy, as the battle for second place. Niall Murray trying this customary round the outside move at Beckett's, and it's going to work, and he's going to do it to Joey Foster. Bit of tyre smoke as they interlock wheels briefly, but Niall Murray has got that move down to a T round the outside of Joey Foster, and he's straight onto the tail of the race leader. So Niall Murray about to go for the race lead here. He pulls to the outside of Stuart Goff. He's good on the brakes down here as well, and another brilliant move for Niall Murray, and he goes from 3rd to 1st in 2 corners, and both of of those manoeuvres were made around the outside. That takes some guts. Brilliant stuff from Niall Murray. Remember, started 7th. We're about to come through and complete lap 3, and he's already in the race lead. Stuart Goff down to 2nd, Foster 3rd, Wolfenden 5th, Matt Rangarino is 6th, and I think that was Luke Cooper, was it, coming through in 7th position? I think it was, as the drivers weave their way down the pit straight up towards Copse Corner. Niall Murray turns in, then it is Goff, then it is Foster. Joey Foster could really do with getting past Stuart here, because he will feel that really he should be in the race lead, not Niall Murray. Remember, Joey started 4th, Niall started 7th, so Joey will be a bit disappointed to have Niall ahead of him already in this race. Back out of Beckett's they go, down the Wellington straight. He'll be in the slipstream here, Joey Foster, and you can see already Niall Murray pulling a bit of a gap. That will make Joey even more eager to make this move stick. The defensive line is taken by Stuart though, so to the outside will go Joey. Late on the brakes, not late enough though. They're going to be side by side through the corner, and Joey Foster's all out of shape on the marbles on the outside line. As we're getting later and later into the day, the discarded rubber and dirt and dust that gets swept off the racing line is making that outside line down at Brooklands very treacherous indeed. Down across the start-finish line we go. There's Luke Cooper. He's just done the fastest first sector of anybody. Can he translate that into a fastest lap time? The answer is no, because Jack Wolfenden sets the fastest lap in 4th position, but the fastest lap being traded every time the cars come through, really, based upon who gets the best slipstream around the circuit. So Murray leads the way. Who's going to make the move down towards Beckett's? Anybody? Or for the first time this race, are we maybe going to keep single file for more than a couple of corners? Looks like that's the way, as everyone just tries to size each other up now. We're nearly 5 minutes into the race. Maybe things starting to settle into a bit of a pattern now, with Murray just trying to pull out this gap. He had a gap at this stage 1 lap ago, but then when they got back to the line, it was just 0.2 of a second as Joey Foster launches up the inside and takes 2nd place away from Stuart Goff. Well, that was fantastic stuff there, wasn't it? Oh, he's sideways again. Foster's car has been oversteering all weekend, but that seems to be the way he likes it, and that was pure confidence under braking. So into 2nd place has gone Joey Foster. What can he do about Niall Murray? What is the lead gap going to be? That's the question. It was 0.2, it's now 0.7, because Niall Murray sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 1.538, which is, let me just compare that, almost as quick as Stuart Goff's fastest lap from race 2, but not quite. It's pretty quick though, nonetheless. There's Jack Wolfenden. He's got himself ahead of Stuart Goff now as well. So Stuart Goff's just starting to slip down the order slightly into 4th position. There's race 1 winner, number 6, Luke Cooper. He's just started to show his face towards the front of the field as well. But Murray in danger here of breaking the toe and allowing himself maybe a relatively easy time of this. Oh, contact! Jack Wolfenden into the back of Joey Foster. Joey Foster spins down at Brooklands. They're both off the road, and both of their races ruined. Joey Foster's car appears to have escaped unscathed, but he will be livid with that. Jack Wolfenden's car lost its nose cone, and we saw when that happened to Josh Fisher in race 1. That was the end of his race. There is the damaged car flashing his through screen, and there is, well, that's not Joey Foster, but the car behind him is. That is Carter Williams, but the car behind him was our erstwhile front runner Joey Foster. Joey crosses the line, 13th position, so that throws the cat among the pigeons. It's so easily done when you're racing inches apart at these speeds. It's so easy to do, but unfortunately that's had fairly catastrophic effect for both of their prospects, really, and it's really opened up the lead gap. Niall Murray now has a 2.3 second margin over, well, it was Luke Cooper who was classified 2nd, but I believe it's now Stuart Goff who is back through in 2nd position. Yes, it is, with Matt Rangarino 3rd and Luke Cooper 4th, but looking to get that 3rd place back up the inside in towards Brooklands. Is that going to work? Doesn't look like it will, but well, we need now to keep an eye on that black car of Joey Foster, because he's still got just over half the race left to try and work himself back into a podium position. We've got a car diving for the pit lane, which I think is Jack Wolfenden with that damaged nose cone, so he makes his way down the pit lane to make some repair works if possible, but more than likely that will be the end of his race. Oh, and there's another car off in the background, which is that Michael, it's 126, yeah, Michael Moyers, 125, with broken right front suspension. Now, how's that happened? You would imagine he's made contact with someone or something for that to happen. Either way, the car is off the road and his race is done. Yellow flags will therefore be out at Luffield, or between Luffield and Woodcote. So Murray leading the way. What's going on for second? I'm getting confused now because it's changing so often. It's now Matt Garrido in second place, with our race 2 winner Luke Cooper trying to take third away from Stuart Goff. Oh, Michael Eastwell spins now. Michael Eastwell was up the inside of somebody. That would have been, I think, Rory Smith, and there was maybe a bit of contact, and it is Michael who comes off worst. So that final sector is seeing all of the action. Yes, it was the 45 car that he was up the inside of. That was Rory Smith. The two of them made contact, and it's Michael that ends up off in the runoff area. Well, they're making life easy for Niall Murray here, aren't they? He's now nearly 4 seconds clear at the front of the field. Matt Garrido is second, Stuart Goff is third, then it's Luke Cooper fourth, Jamie Thorburn is fifth, ahead of Rory Smith sixth, Seb Melrose seventh, Nico Gruber is doing well in 8th position, 9th place for Joey Foster now, so he's already back into the top 10, but he's 3 seconds behind anybody else. Checking in with some of the battles further back, that's James Clark in the number 78 machine making his way through. James Clark running in 20th position actually, and looking to try and get past Jay Bridger in the number 30 machine as they make their way down in towards Beckett's. Inside line is occupied though, so there's no way through at this stage. That is a significantly older car, is that number 78 machine. That's one of the older Megals in the race, but you wouldn't know it because he's competing with much newer machinery there. So into the pit lane also has come George McDonald, that's car number 67. Mechanical issue, we believe, but that is a real shame. The car getting wheeled back into the garage. His race is done. So Niall Murray 4 seconds clear of this almighty squabble going on for second place. That's Jamie Thorburn, who we haven't spoken about much today. The blue and white car number 50 running around in 5th place. He's tagged himself onto the back of this 4-car fight for second. So we've got Matt Garrido, Stuart Goff, Luke Cooper and Jamie Thorburn in the Cliff Dempsey run machine. And these three are tied together by a very, very short piece of string as they make their way up through Beckett's, back down the Wellington Straight. Matt Garrido trying to pull a gap, but that's probably a bit optimistic in Formula Ford racing. Actually, Niall Murray managed it, didn't he? He's got this big, big lead. They fan out under braking. Goff up the inside of Luke Cooper there. Cooper actually trying to take third place away here from Goff, and he does it round the outside. Good move that from Luke Cooper. That's how he won the race in race 2, by going round the outside of Niall Murray at that corner. So Goff slots back into line now in 4th position, just ahead of Jamie Thorburn. Jamie in the blue and white car at the tail end of that group will sense an opportunity here maybe to get a podium finish. Jamie was 5th in race 1, then slipped down to 11th in race 2 for some reason, so it's good to see him back towards the sharp end. Niall Murray may have this 4 and a bit second lead, but he's not slowing down. He's just done another fastest lap of the race now, 101.357. Great lap time that is from the race leader, but he's under no pressure. He can take the lines that he wants, and he's able to run significantly quicker. You can see there the advantage of getting into clean air and not being held up by the cars behind or cars around you, not defending, not trying to find a way past somebody. Speaking of finding a way past someone, this is Jamie Thorburn trying to get around the outside of Stuart Goff. They almost bang wheels as they turn into the left-hander at Brooklands. They just about keep it clean. Just under 4 minutes still to go, incidentally, in this 3rd round of the Avon Tyres National Formula Ford 1600 Championship. Here's a nice little battle going on further back. That's number 13, Sebastian Job, at the inside of the number 7 of John Ferguson. So nice move made there by Sebastian. That is for 16th place. Ferguson got ahead of him earlier on in the lap, and Job found a way back through again there, down towards Brooklands. 88 is Seb Melrose, and 77 is Nico Gruber. This is for 7th position, so this is inside the top 10, and they're just a little bit further away from the leading group, but these are 2 drivers we haven't seen much of this weekend. They've been there or thereabouts. Because of the frenetic action up front, we haven't had a chance to check in with them. Well, this is our chance to see Seb Melrose and Nico Gruber doing battle. Lots of encouragement for Nico on social media this weekend. He's got quite the group of supporters out there, has Nico, and he's doing them proud, running inside the top 10. Back through Brooklands goes Matt Garrido, Luke Cooper. Now, the chance of a race win more than likely has disappeared for Luke, but a 2nd place would go very nicely with his race 2 win and his 6th place in race 1. That would probably help his championship campaign no end. Can he get that 2nd place? That's the question. Another fastest lap, meanwhile, for Niall Murray. A 101.338 is now the fastest lap we've seen this weekend. So Niall Murray, car number 5, looking good for a race victory and really stamping his authority on this race. Here at Silverstone, still pushing on through Brooklands. What's going on for second? same order. Yes, Matt Rangarino, the two red and white cars have got themselves together, but the XL Labels livery car, number 27, is Matt Rangarino, and the number 6 car, the slightly plainer livery car of Luke Cooper, running in third. Stuart Goff is actually trying to get alongside him, and will do, I think, on the outside line down towards Brooklands. Tries to jink across to get to the apex first, but can't do it. Jamie Thorburn, Rory Smith, by the way, don't count him out either. He's lapping similar sort of pace as these four, and he's only a second behind them in 6th place. That's the red car you see, just off the tail end of that group. But if they really start falling over each other over these last 2 laps, then he could still join in the fun. So yes, penultimate lap begins for Niall Murray then, 1.5 minutes left on the clock. They're doing lap times of just over 1 minute, so 2 laps to go. And really, it's all about this fight for second place now. Can Luke Cooper make another of his penultimate lap manoeuvres? He did it to win race 2. Can he do it to nick second place away from Matt Rangarino in this one? Towards Maggots and Beckett, he's also got to fend off the attentions of Stuart Goff and Jamie Thorburn behind him. Back out of Beckett's we go, onto the Wellington Straight, and yeah, actually, it looks as though Cooper is going to have to really turn to defence rather than attack. A bit of bodywork goes flying, not quite sure where that came from, but look at Stuart Goff. He's alongside Luke Cooper, he's on the outside line. This is for 3rd position, and Goff is going to try and brave it round the outside of Brooklands to get the inside line for Luffield. What a move! You can tell that Stuart Goff is one of the experienced drivers on the grid. That was fantastic stuff, but you can do it. It's a risky move to make, because you always run the risk of the car on the inside washing out wide and taking you out, but if you hang tough around the outside of Brooklands, you get the inside line for really the next 3 or 4 corners, so it is a good way of getting through. Last lap has begun for Niall Murray. He makes his way down towards Maggots and Beckett for the final time, 6 seconds clear of anybody else. That is very un-Formula Ford-like, but that's just been a really well-managed race from Niall. He fought his way through quickly, got to the lead, and then no one else could match him. He pulled away whilst the rest of them were fighting, and really has never been headed since half-race distance. For second place, though, things are still unsure. Matt Rangarino has a car length or so's advantage over Stuart Goff in 3rd. Luke Cooper 4th. Will do everything he can to fight back, but this is the final time down towards Beckett's. Last chance saloon here, and around the outside he's done it again. Luke Cooper does exactly what he did in race 2 and makes a late move round the outside at Brooklands. That's exactly what Stuart Goff did to him a lap ago. All of this, though, is happening some 6 or so seconds behind this man, as Niall Murray is going to make it. 3 different winners from the first 3 races of the season. He wins round 3 of the Avon Tyres National Formula Ford 1600 Championship. Is Matt Rangarino going to be held to hang on to second place? Yes, just by 0.2 of a second over Luke Cooper in 3rd, Stuart Goff 4th, Jamie Thorburn 5th, and Rory Smith in 6th. Nico Gruber got the better of Seb Melrose in their race-long battle for 7th. 9th place goes the way of Joe Foster. He'll be a bit disgruntled after that one, though. And Michael Eastwell rounds out the top 10. So Niall Murray really stamping his authority on that race, but he left behind some brilliant battling for second place. Matt Rangarino gets his best result of the weekend in 2nd, and Luke Cooper will probably have had one of the most consistent weekends. A win, a 3rd and a 6th for Luke Cooper this weekend. That will put him in good stead early doors as far as championship points are concerned.
Niall Murray, what a commanding victory. That's one of each now, a 3rd, a 2nd and a 1st.
Yeah, I struggled a little bit yesterday in the damp, and today I had a bit of damage earlier on. So, yeah, I was really looking forward to the bone dry race. I knew the car felt absolutely perfect earlier on, except for until the damage came. So I was, again looking forward to a race earlier on or today. And starting 7th, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but just first couple of laps focused on getting past as many people as I could, so that the train didn't break away at the front when I wasn't in it. So. Yeah, really happy, and obviously unfortunate for Joey. He got together with Jack and a couple of laps in, which gave me the break. Happy days for me, but unfortunately for him. So I'm sure he'll be back fighting in Knockhill.
Matt Rangarino, it's been a long time coming this. You've had victories in the Northern Series, but this is your first national championship podium. That's a big one.
Yeah, exactly like you said. I came short just a few times over last season, and to finally get my podium and for it to be a P2 as well, not even a P3, feels amazing. I just can't thank the team enough. My car felt absolutely great. I'd like to thank everyone at Medina for that, everyone at Team Dolan for setting it up so well. I'd like to thank Bernard Dolan and Niall Murray for driver coaching, and everyone such as like Ray Grimes, my dad, like so many people put a lot into this, and finally starting to see some results. And like you said, it's been a long time coming. I've had wins in the Northern, I've had wins in the Northern Irish, and now finally podium in the National.
Well, Luke Cooper, third position. If you're not careful, they're going to have to rename Brooklands Cooper Corner because you're just so good round there.
Yeah, I pulled off quite a lot of good moves around the outside there. It was a good result coming from 8th on the grid, but once Niall got in front and there was the incident behind, it was a titanic battle for second then.